and I'm a registered dietitian. I'm here to provide you some suggestions and tips to facilitate the nutrition session. This segment will be talking about familiarizing kids with the ingredients that make up the recipe and not just the actual meal itself that makes the meal healthy. It's also the individual actual foods and the seasonings and the spices and herbs that we want to also focus on. This also helps kids learn in terms of food literacy, the different foods and flavorings that you can use to make food taste a certain way, maybe ways that we enjoy, maybe ways that we're not so much leaning towards. And so today's focus is about focus on how to talk to kids about identifying the ingredients that are spices, herbs, and seasonings. So what we want to do is, one of the suggestions that I have in the lesson plan is to make sure you divvy up the ingredients by table. That's just a way that we've found that kids pay more attention to what you're talking about and kids feel more engaged, especially when you're asking them questions about the ingredient that you're holding up. So for example, here I have some garlic powder, and so we'll say, here, what do you guys know what this looks like? What color is this powder? And maybe they'll say yellow, maybe they'll say white, maybe they'll say orange, who knows? And it's good to just say those are really good, that's a really good feedback. And then you'll have one child from the table come up and collect this ingredient and bring it back to their table. And this also I found kept kids engaged because the kids couldn't wait for their own turn to come and collect an ingredient for their table. And so once they've collected it, have them pass it around and say, what does it smell like? And go, and then what does it smell like? And maybe they might say garlic, they might say, I don't know, stinky feet or something outrageous or funny like that. And maybe it makes your nose itchy, maybe it's really strong, and then just kind of take a whiff. And this helps them explore using their sense of smell. And so some of these exploratory sensory activities is really good to help kids really get to know the foods that they're using, the ingredients that they're using, because this is also a step in encouraging kids to try new things. Because if something is just presented to them and it looks foreign, they've never had it before, they haven't seen these colors before, they haven't smelled it before, kids like to use their senses to get to know something, whether and determine whether it's something safe or something they're comfortable with trying. So one of these ways is just to explore each individual ingredient. So we'll take a smell, take a big whiff, and then also say, if you want, you can try to take a little pinch and see what it feels like. So we take our little pinch fingers, and this is why hand washing is so important. And we'll take a little pinch and say, feel it between your fingers. And then maybe they put it in their hands, and maybe then they can see a little bit closely and then say, like, what does it smell like on your hands? Maybe they'll smell it. If you want, you can also taste it. And lots of kids actually, surprisingly for me, they actually wanted to take a lick, and they go, lick. And then most of the time they'll be like, oh, that's so strong. And that's the message where you can sort of indicate, that's right. Sometimes ingredients on their own may not taste great, or it may not taste too strong, or doesn't taste like anything. And that's why it's important that when we combine all these ingredients together, that's what makes a meal taste super good. And so we'll set that aside, we'll take that individual each, and so you hand that to the kids. And the next thing, again, also you can do is whenever the recipe calls for making something with herbs, that's when you can also have the child bring whichever herbs that you want back to the table. This is an herb pot from Janet, that Janet has put together. It looks beautiful. So for example, we can take a leaf off. You can ask each child to take turns in taking a leaf off of this. This one is rosemary. And we'll say, oh, what does this rosemary plant look? How does this rosemary plant look? What color is it? Maybe they'll say, oh, it's very thin and long leaves. And then we'll say, oh, what about these? What do these look like? How are the leaves different? And then that's how we kind of get to know what different herbs look like. And they'll get to know when they go to the grocery store, oh, that's rosemary. Oh, that's oregano. Oh, that's thyme. Things like that. And so once they have a leaf in their hands, you can say, okay, let's rub it between our fingers. And then, and that's how we know what an herb smells like, is you kind of pinch the leaves a bit and smell it. What does that smell like? What does it remind you of? And those are just great sensory ways of getting kids really interested in food. And so that way it's not just about nutrition, but it's also about exploring and using our five senses to get to know different foods and have fun with it.